Hello, everybody, and welcome to English at Ease. My name is Adam, and in today's video, we are going to be learning English by exploring the place where I live. One of the reasons why I decided to live here, why I decided to live in this place, is because this place where I live is very rural. Now, when a place is rural, it means that it is not in a big city. It is not a part of a big city with a lot of buildings. When a place is rural, it is near nature. When something is rural, it means it is part of the countryside instead of the city. Now, there are some positives and there are some negatives to living in a place like this, to living in a place that's part of the countryside, to living in a place that is very rural, as opposed to living in the city. One of the positives to living in a place like this, one of the reasons why I decided to move here, is that it is very quiet in areas that are very rural like this. When you live in a big city, there is a lot of noise that you are hearing a lot of the time, and it's hard to find a moment of peace and quiet. When you live in the countryside like this, it is very quiet all of the time. Usually the only sound you can hear is the sound of the birds, which I find very peaceful. This is another one of the positives of living in an area like this. It is very peaceful. The views are incredible, and it is very relaxing to live in a place like this. Now, it is important to remember that even though there are definitely some positives to living in this rural area, to living away from the big cities, it is also important to remember that there are some negatives as well to living in a place like this. One of the negatives of living in a place like this, one of the things that's not so good about living in a rural place like this, is that it is a little bit difficult, just a little bit difficult, to go to stores and to buy things, because you have to drive for a little while before you can arrive at an area where there are a lot of stores. You have to drive to the nearest big city in order to buy a lot of different things. So it makes things a little bit difficult when you need to purchase something if you live in a place like this. Now, another negative to living in a place like this, to living in a rural area like this, is that you have to be very careful of the animals that live in these areas. When you don't live in a big city, you are going to see a lot more animals. Animals live in areas like this where there are not a lot of people. So you have to make sure when you are exploring these types of areas that you are very careful, that you don't run into any animals that might be dangerous. For example, in an area like this, we have coyotes. And we also have snakes. And if you're walking in a place like this, if you're walking in a place that is full of bushes and full of grass, this is grass on the ground right here, then you need to be very careful because there might be snakes hiding in the grass. There might be snakes that are living in the grass. And if while you are walking, you step on one of the snakes, if you step on one of the snakes, it might try to bite you. The snake might try to bite you. So you have to be careful when you are walking around in places like this. One of the positive things about living here is that there are a lot of playgrounds like this one behind me. This is a playground, and there are lots of these playgrounds in this neighborhood. These playgrounds are perfect if you have children. If you have kids like me, then these are good places for kids to spend some time and play at. Now, my kid, my child, is a little bit too young to play on this playground. She will need to wait until she is a little bit older and she has grown a little bit more to be able to come here and play here. But if you have kids that are a little bit older that can walk around on their own, then this is a really good place to bring them so that they can play on this playground. Now, I am an adult man. I am not a child. So obviously, I am not going to play on this playground. Now, there are also picnic tables at this park area, at this playground area, where you can sit like I'm doing right now. So these are really good places if you come here as an adult and you aren't going to play on the playground, but your kids are playing on the playground. You can sit here and watch them from up close and make sure they are doing okay while they play on this playground right here. This is also a good place to bring some food, to bring a meal, and you can enjoy a meal here in this nice area as well. Now, this playground also has a swing set right here. This is a swing set. And this swing set is a really fun way for kids to spend a good amount of time swinging back and forth. This swing right here is for smaller kids, for much littler kids, because they need some extra support. They need this right here to make sure they don't fall off of the swing set. And this swing set right here is for bigger kids, kids who don't need as much support. But again, I am an adult man, so I am not going to swing on this swing set. Another one of the places that I love in the area where I live, in my neighborhood, is this pond area right here. This behind me is a pond. A pond is full of water. A pond is kind of like a lake, but smaller. It is like a miniature lake. Now, this pond is a really nice place to walk around. A lot of people come to this pond to take a walk. There is a path that goes around the entire pond. So you can take a nice walk around this pond right here. There is also this cool island here at the center of the pond. This island sits in the middle of the pond, but you are not able to go to this island. There is no way to get to this island in the center of the pond. If you wanted to get there, you would probably have to swim, but you are not allowed to swim in this pond. You can't swim to this island right here. As we walk around, you will notice that there are also lots of ducks that live in this pond. These are ducks. These ducks live in this area. Some of these ducks are very big. These 3 ducks right here are very large. They are much bigger than most of the ducks that I have ever. On the other hand, some of these ducks are very small. This duck right here is very small. These ducks are much smaller than the other ducks that we saw. Now, this pond is also a really good place to come and to fish. A lot of people come here to fish. Now, if you are going to come to this pond to fish, you have to follow some very specific rules. There are some rules that everyone coming to fish here has to follow. One of these rules is that you need to be a person who lives here. If you don't live in this neighborhood, you can't fish in this pond. This is what this sign is saying here. It says if you don't live in this neighborhood, you can't come here to fish. Now, another rule about fishing in this pond we can see right here. It says catch and release only. This means that if you catch a fish, if you get a fish, you can't bring that fish home with you to cook and to eat. You have to take that fish and put it back in the water. You have to throw this fish back into the water. You can't eat the fish that you catch here. Now, a lot of people bring their dogs to this pond here. A lot of people like to bring the dogs that they own to walk around this pond. Now, in order to keep this place clean, this neighborhood tries to make sure that people clean up after their dogs. This sign right here says that you need to clean up after your dog. That means if your dog, poops a little bit, you need to pick it up and you need to throw it away. They even have bags here. These are bags here that you can take and you can use these to clean up after your dog. And after you've cleaned up, you can throw it away in this bin right here, in this trash can right here. Now, if you don't clean up after your dog, you can get into trouble. If you don't clean up after your dog, you might have to pay a little bit of money. You will have to pay either $25 to $200 if you don't pick up after your dog. So if you come to this area with your dog, you really want to make sure that you pick up after your dog if your dog needs to use the bathroom, if your dog needs to poop. Because if you don't pick up after your dog, you could lose up to $200 for not picking up after your dog. Now, there is also this really cool bridge area right here. This is a bridge that I am standing on right now, and the water from the pond goes under the bridge. It moves under this bridge right here. Now, I think this bridge looks pretty cool. I think it looks really nice with the pond here. There are also lights on this bridge right here like this one. So at night, these will light up so you can see this area a little bit better. And I also think this looks really nice. People will also sometimes come to this bridge to fish, and they will fish from the top of this bridge right here because it is easier for them to be able to fish in different parts of the pond. I could be right here fishing, and if I'm not finding any fish right here, I could move over here and I could fish on this part of the pond right here. We also can find cool little things like this. This is a chair for people to sit on that faces the pond right here. So if you sit on this chair, you can get a nice view of the pond. But this chair is made out of wood. You can see that this is wood right here. This chair is wooden, and it has been carved out to look like a chair to sit on. You can also see that somebody carved the letter G into this chair. I don't know why somebody carved the letter G into this wooden chair right here, but maybe the person who made this chair had a name that started with the letter G. Now, there are also a lot of houses that are very close to this pond area right here. Now, you might not be able to tell because it is covered with trees, but there are houses back here, and these people live very close to this pond area. You can also see that somebody has made a very cool thing right here. There is a guy that is leaning against this tree right here. You can see that he is leaning. You can see that he is leaning against this tree, and this guy here is very big. It is very huge. I don't know what they made this person out of. I don't know what material they use to make this person, but it is very cool to see. And as you are walking along this pond, you are able to look at this giant person right here. Now, I feel like if you have never come here before, if you are new to this place and you come here very late at night when it is very dark and you cannot see very well, I feel like it might be kind of scary if you are walking along this pond and you turn and see this person. You might think he is real and that he is some kind of giant that lives at the pond. I would be kind of scared if I saw this person here at night. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you were able to get some good English listening practice. For more videos like this one, where we practice and improve our English by listening to the language spoken in a slow, simple, and clear way, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much.